everyone, Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters. So I am pulling out my homemade kit today, and I actually didn't have these specific stickers in my kit, but I found them in my stash and they have been around for a very long time, and I decided that these were the perfect photos to use them. Who knew when I was next going to go to like the zoo or something, so I was just going to try and use every single one of them on this layout as my main embellishment. So I'm pulling out the papers from my kit. I've transferred my kit to a little trolley similar to a Raskog, but it's not a Raskog, it's just a Target version. And so it's much easier for me to access and get to and just pull things off now because it's just right beside me. I've got two of them, one for this and then one for December stuff, because I am notoriously slow at doing my December daily and it's still not finished. So I figure if I have these two sets of supplies really handy, then I'm hopefully going to get to it. So moving on, I decided that I really liked this green paper for this layout because there was lots of touches of green in the embellishment stickers, and there's some really light spots in this paper that almost look yellow. And there's obviously quite a bit of yellow happening in the embellishment stickers and also in the photo. So this paper's a little bit full on. And I know that with my first homemade kit page that I made, the one with the torn sides, this green was a bit in your face and didn't quite fit. So I don't think I'm going to pair it with any other bits of paper because I think it's sort of bold enough to speak for itself. But it does need something. So I've got a bit of an idea of what I want to do. And I want to try to include some stitching because I'm thinking this might be the way to include a little bit of different colour and help sort of tie it a bit together. So I'm going to lay these out on my page in this format. I know this as well. So I've sort of got the idea planned out in my head. I've seen a similar layout to this on Pinterest. And so I'm obviously not making it exactly the same, but this is just where I'm getting sort of my thought base from. So that's why I've got a bit of a direction to go. I played around with the idea of backing it onto this brown paper because I just really think that matches well with the theme and the feel of the layout, but it didn't look right. And I do actually have another piece of that, so I could have moved the whole thing to brown paper, but then I was worried that little Thomas would get lost. And because he's got a white onesie suit on, I'm thinking I will just stick with the white and try and pull the colour in by using the embellishments and doing some stitching. So I'm pulling some yellow and some orange thread, and I'm trying to match it up to his outfit and also to the stickers. And I'm going to start by using the yellow thread first. And so this is how I do my stitching if I'm not pre-prepared. So I often cut my holes on a silhouette, but if I'm not pre-prepared, I will cut them by hand or pierce them by hand. So I've stuck on my 4 triangles to make this square, and I've just got my ruler here because I want to try and keep the spacing of each of my holes or my stitches relatively even. It's not 100% even, but I'm just going to try my best. I figure this way I'll get a nice sort of uniform. What I want to do is sort of lines and how do I explain it? I want to go around the edge of each triangle, but I also want to do little mini triangles inside. So I want to try and keep it as straight as possible so that it doesn't look messy. So I am just using a big thick needle and piercing into a piece of old foam that I keep specifically for this purpose. So it's covered in holes. Now, if I'm doing a lot of piercing, I actually like to get like a thumbtack or something that's got a head on it, so I've got something to hold on to, because your fingers can get quite sore when you've got nothing to grip. So I really want to use this yellow, but I'm worried that there's not very much of this thread, this floss. So this is DMC embroidery thread. You might be able to see the number of it at some stage, but my mum, these are all my mum's. I stole them off her one day. She will want them back. Hopefully she's not watching this video. My mum transferred them all onto the embroidery spools, and she just writes the number on them so that you know if you want to buy it, what number to get. Yeah, I'm worried I'm going to run out, and I want to do quite a bit of stitching. So usually I would leave the thread quite thick and use all 6 strands. Sometimes I thin it out a little bit and use 4 strands, but I'm doing it super thin and just using 2 strands today because I was really worried I wouldn't have enough. And you'll see in a minute, I'm going to flick to the end and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm just doing normal back stitch here. I don't tie any knots, so there's no knot tied in the end. I just sort of held it in place with my fingers, and then once I started, it stops pulling through once you've done a couple of stitches. And when I get to the end, again, I don't tie it off, I just leave it hanging on the back. And I seal all of the loose threads on the back with some washi tape. And I do later on down the track, I'm pretty sure I do, I show you what the back of my page looks like in case you're interested. So I am about to skip to the end and show you the finished product. So I end up doing 2 yellow stitching on the triangle, and the other 2 triangles I do with orange stitching. So you can see it there, really subtle. Because the thread's not thick, it's not as easy to see. Looking in the images there, the yellow is really quite hard to see. It's not in real life, it's much easier to see in real life. Obviously the orange is standing out a lot more in the pictures above, but it's just a really nice little effect. It just, to me, it sort of softens that paper a little bit because it really was quite bright and harsh, that green paper. So it's just a really nice way to tone that down and to tie that green in with the orange and the yellows that are happening throughout the embellishments, and to make the giraffe on his onesie, oh, excuse me, sorry, and to make the giraffe on his onesie just sort of jump out and stand out a little bit more. So I'm really determined to use all of the stickers on that sticker sheet. So I've just cut them apart and left them on their clear acrylic backing just to make it easier to move them around the page and to get a bit of an idea of where I want them to go. I really want to layer that frame underneath the photo, but it is huge. These sticker sheets, these stickers in themselves are really honking, like really fat. So I know already that I'm going to layer that, but it's not going to be able to be layered as it is. I'm going to have to cut it because it's massive. So you can't see, but I've pulled my embellishment box off my trolley, and I'm looking through the thickers and the words and things that I have in that I'd already pulled out for use in my kit. And I really like that "oh yeah," probably because it's green, and I really like the green circle font. But the kind of words, I wanted to write something about being cute, because he looks really cute, but there are no E's in that green lettering, and there are no E's in the lowercase of this yellow lettering. So I'm looking through my thicker packs, and I've got a decent amount there, as you can see. That's all I've got, which is heaps, but that's all I've got. They're all of my thickers. But none of those are really speaking to me, so I'm thinking about what to do, and I decide I'm just gonna roll with it and see if I can make the words that I want to make. So let's see, I'm wanting to make, can you work it out, gum so far, gump. Oh, that's right, there's no Y's. So I leave that for a minute, because now there's 2 letters missing. That's supposed to say grumpy, but it does not. It says gump. So I'm leaving that at the moment because I really didn't plan what letters I needed, and I didn't check if the letters were there. I just knew there were no E's, so I couldn't write cute giraffe because there isn't any E's. And then for some reason, when I started writing giraffe in the capitals, I was like, oh yeah, awesome, we're totally fine. I've got all the letters I need. Because I think in my brain, I was spelling giraffe with 2 E's instead of 2 F's. I don't know why. But anyway, that's an easy fix because I can just cut the E off, which I actually hate doing because I hate wasting an E to make an F. But these are really, really, really old chipboard, and I'm just going to run with it. So you might have noticed as well, sorry, I did edit that out because it took me a little bit of time. I pulled out a capital X and I pulled out a lowercase p, and I just cut those down to make my R and my Y. Super easy. The P is like exactly the correct shape to make an R. 2 little cuts and you're done. Especially like for a lowercase r. Anyway, so yeah, super simple. So I dug into my embellishment packs that I had created for this kit and pulled out my yellow-green packet because I want to try and use those colours the most if I can, incorporate some more yellow. I really want to pull more yellow into this. That's where my brain is. That's why Grumpy Giraffe is written in the yellow font. I just really want to accentuate the yellow giraffe on his onesie and the yellowness that's in the embellishments. Obviously, there's a little bit of orange as well. I didn't put orange in my embellishment packs, and I could have pulled my orange embellishment tub out of my storage container, but I want to try and use my kit here. So I'm not going to introduce, well, not introduce orange. Orange exists in it already, but I'm not going to bother. I don't need to worry about it. Yellow is enough. So I'm just going to roll with the things that I've got happening here and see what I can do. I was really going to leave that tag there and do my journaling on it, but I like to do my journaling on my typewriter, which that's fine. I could have put that into my typewriter, but it all just went in the too hard basket actually. So I end up moving that out of the way because I just couldn't work out. Yeah, I just couldn't work out how I was going to do it. But that's all right. No big deal. I really wanted an arrow, and I really like that gold one. But then, of course, the issue is if I add that gold one, I'll need to add some more gold later. So I actually just pulled out those gold hearts and triangles because I just will, as saying to myself, I just will have to use one of those to keep that gold arrow on there, because otherwise it's just one random piece of gold and that's a bit strange. So I'm really happy with how things are looking. I can't work out how to put that orange square or rectangular piece on, so at the moment it's just hanging off on the side, but I'm going to stick down what I've done so far because I'm thinking this is looking pretty good and I'm pretty happy with what's happening. So I'm just using the Tombow Mono aqua glue. I know you can't see me. I am using that to stick on the circular piece there, and I'm actually going to skip to the end. So when I've, or not the very end, but like when I've stuck down all the things you'd already seen. I figured you didn't need to watch me just glue down things you've already seen me place onto the page. So I did use some foam adhesive behind my photographs and behind the gold arrow because it's sitting up on top of one of my photos at the point, and I did cut the giraffe frame so that it just sat around the photo, so it's not underneath the photo at all, it's just sitting around it. Now I really wanted to use a word phrase underneath Grumpy Giraffe. There wasn't one that was exactly perfect for what I was thinking, but that one was pretty close, so I just roll with that. I was really surprised. I expected these stickers to not be sticky anymore because they were so old, but I guess because they'd been sealed in their packaging the entire time and had not been played with, they were pretty good. Just that tiny green one was the only one that wasn't sticky anymore. And it probably doesn't help that I was trying to stick it to like glittery textured, a glittery textured sticker. So I was pretty happy. I pulled in another piece of gold. I really wanted a third bit of gold because it's nice to have things in threes. But I can't work out where to put it. I don't know where I want it, and I don't know what I want to use. So I think I'll just stick with 2. I really want something else. My brain here at the moment is in a bit of stuck mode. I really want something else, but I'm not sure what, and I am at that what do I do stage. So I was starting to pack up the embellishments, and I found this other little green circle chipboard. I used the first one underneath that circular giraffe head, so I decided I'm just gonna pop that on the page too, because I really like that touch of green and I really like that touch of texture, and it's just cute. I still can't work out where to put that rectangular piece, so back to packing up my embellishments again. When I get a little bit stuck and I'm not 100% sure what to do or where to go next, I like to tidy up my space. I like to put away the things that I'm finished with, even if I pull them back out again, and just get myself organized to clear my head a little bit and give me a chance to think and give me a chance to look at my layout a little bit more. So I know I edit out a lot of bits and bobs, but I actually kept this in because it's sort of part of my process. It's how my brain works. As I was packing up, I stumbled across these leaves. Now, when I included them in the kit, I'd always planned to use them with the flowers, but giraffes eat leaves. I want to put them on. So I'm holding up my layout here, which I do sometimes, or if I'm not feeling lazy, I will stand up, just to try and look at it a bit more front on. Sometimes things look different from overhead. Like sometimes when I look back at the video and do my voiceover, things actually look good when I thought they didn't, and I pulled them apart and rechanged things or did things differently, and I'm like, oh, that was actually fine in the first place, but I was seeing it from a different angle or a different perspective that you don't always see it in the same way, if that makes sense. So sometimes a change is as good as a holiday. So half the reason why I stop doing things and start packing up, or you might go and get a drink of water, or you might just hold your layout up so you can see it in a different way. So I decided this layout did just need a little pop of something else. So I tore this top right hand strip off the top of the page there and just put a bit more of the paper. It would have made more sense, I know, to use the short side of this rectangle scrap piece of green instead of the long side, but if I want to use this paper later, having the 12 by 12 having the length still be 12 inches, I think is going to be more user-friendly for another layout later. So that's why I used the long side. So I want to put something up there. I don't just want the green paper, I want something up there. So I pulled out the black and white pack. I have no idea why. That was never going to work. I've got 0 black in this layout. 0. There's no way black was going to work on. I'm still just flabbergasted with myself for even pulling that out. That was never going to be a good colour match. The white would have been okay, and maybe that's what I was looking for. Yeah, right. But definitely not the black. It is way too dark for what's going on this page. So I'm just trimming this off, measuring carefully to make sure it's 12 inches, and not cutting the whole strip across. I probably should have, but I just cut a little bit and then trimming that off there. Oh, and there you can see on the back. Sorry, that was the back there. So you could see how I'd stuck all the washi tape on. So I have a play with this last sticker to see if I can get it to work. I cut it. I even pull it apart as well and make it flat, so not use the honkin' front part, but I decided that the actual sticker part with the giraffe on it that's yellow and orange is way too bright. That bit over top just sort of dulls it all down. And so now that I've cut it in half, I can't get it to work. I'm like, you know what? I'm happy to let this one go. So I actually threw it in the bin. I did. I figure it is one last sticker from an entire pack. It's totally fine. So I'm still hunting for something to put in this corner. And I know now I want it to be yellow. I know, that's what I want. So I'm looking and I don't have anything yellow. So then I thought maybe there is something. You know how sometimes there are other shapes or other things on your thicker sheets? I'm like, I don't know, maybe there's something in this chipboard that I can use. And so I end up getting out the dots, the periods, the full stops, I don't know what you want to call them, the tops of the eyes and the bottom of the exclamation points. Except they're not. They are full stops, I do believe, because they didn't belong to anything. They weren't for eyes because I left those because I do like to put the tops of eyes when I'm writing. So I found 3 and I'm like, great, I'm going with it. So the first one definitely goes at the top there because I knew I wanted something yellow up there. And then I popped the other 2 in a couple of the other clusters around the page. But 3 is not enough. So I do go hunting to see if I can find a couple more. I really need to buy more glue. This glue is totally running out. Do you know what I want to buy? One of those fine line bottles. That is what I want to buy. I have been watching a lot of American YouTube videos and I really want a fine line bottle and I really want to get some Scotch tacky glue and see if it is as good as everyone tells me it is. I just have this sneaking suspicion that's going to be expensive in Australia and that I'm going to use it all up in about 2 minutes and be really disappointed that it was probably great glue but that it was an expensive scrapbooking item. That is like my pet hate. The things that you have to use to scrapbook, like your foam and your double-sided tape and your glue, is so expensive. That makes me sad. Can't they make that kind of stuff user-friendly, seeing as they keep upping the price of paper and they keep upping the price of ephemera packs and like, not everywhere, but like quality seems to go down and yet prices seem to go up. Doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, moving on. That is not what this is about. So I found a couple more of the yellow spots and I put those on. And then when I was just fiddling around, I remembered about my tiny attacher. So I'm like, yes, that's what we need. So I put 2 little staples up there as well. And then I decided I was going to rip a little tiny bit, that's a new word, down in the bottom corner as well, because I just thought the bottom left, because I just thought that would be kind of cute. And this layout sort of seemed to be happening a little bit on the diagonal, so I was just going to roll with it. So I made this really hard for myself. I actually should have cut a little rectangle off and just tried to adhere that instead of trying to use the big whole massive sheet of paper. And so that's what I end up doing. I just pull it off because it's still a bit wet and sticky and I've got a little bit of room to move, and that is so much easier. And then I pop a couple of staples down in that one as well, just to match. But I don't bother with any other sort of yellow stickers or anything like that down there because it's such a teensy tiny one that just the staples is enough. And now I think I am just about finished. In fact, I think I might be finished. I am just tidying up my desk and my space, and then I'm going to swap to the stills and show you. Actually, I think I bring it up close for you first so you can see it in real life. So I'll bring it up close. You can check out in detail, and then I will have a few photos for you to see as well, a bit of a close-up of how it all came together. I'm really happy with it. I think Thomas looks super cute for a start, and I really love the way it all came together. I love how the green sort of really toned down by adding all those yellows and adding the orange stitching as well as the yellow stitching, and I just think it's really cute. You can see that I did add my typed journaling and the date as well. I just like to finish it all off now that I've got my typewriter. So thanks everyone, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.